Hello Aquarius, I am Ulrich, I'm a Vermont card reader, and today we will do your financial card readings. These are like advising cards. They tell you or they ask you to make certain adjustments in your life. They tell you how you can improve your financial situation overall. They guide us a little bit in the way we spend money. If there are certain habits in your life, mostly if these are bad habits, how to adjust these habits. So we will just go for it, Aquarius. We will see where this card reading leads us for your sign. So here I go, Aquarius, for your financial card reading for the month of April. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your philosophical financial card reading for the month of April. As your first card here, we see the value of small amounts of money, bills or coins. Anyway, here we see that these small coins or these small bills, they have an importance in our life. We should be aware during the current times here that a lot of people are struggling to meet ends. If we spend small amount of money in general, also for our personal life, it has effects on the long run. There are a lot of people who came into problems by spending always very small amounts of money. If we calculate this on a monthly basis, sometimes this is about big amounts, even if the expense is very small. All these small unimportant expenses, they make a big amount at the end of the month. So this card wants you to think about that, give it your sincere attention, and take a critical look at certain invoices, even if they are smaller. Also, this is the card that we should not go in to advertisements like everything is discounted here, because it depreciates. Also, it devalues our money, and sometimes also it urges us, or it causes to consume more. Sometimes this is the card that we should get financially more clarity in your life, because this card tells us that it takes a lot of coins or small bills to create 100 that forges itself into thousands. You get the picture here. Each coin is of great importance here. Maybe there need to be some adjustments in your life. So next time, if you visit a store, before you're in the cashier, rate what you have bought, look at all the articles that are in your basket, and ask yourself about the necessity of these things. Are you no longer valuing small amounts also in that area? Are you overspending? Did you lose track of certain values of money here? This is what this card is about. So here we are asked for small amounts of money to give them back their value, their moment of glory. In doing so, you will quickly accumulate big amounts of money if you save them instead of spending them. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of our ancestors. We need to think with this card about the good living conditions that we still have in our current society. A lot of people are in very bad shape, and maybe you are not so bad after all. Also, if we compare ourselves to our grandparents, our great-grandparents who had situations of war above them, it doesn't mean because this is also a war where we are currently in, but it's a different kind of war that we are facing now. It's the war against the viruses here that we are facing here. But anyway, coming back to previous generations, when these people retired, sometimes even then they had lack of certain things in the retirement here. But probably here, sometimes we think they had better times, they were better off than you at the right moment. Maybe there are some similarities, but think about it, this situation will only last for a certain period of time. Although, of course, society will change over a whole. There are serious changes in our society coming, but of course, we will not get to the situations in general where we are shortage of money when we are pensioning. Mostly if we think wisely and we make some savings here, we can establish ourselves out. And this is what this card is about. You need to make certain distinguishments between your generations, and you need to realize how contented previous generations were. Even they had very few when they were in pension. Or if you compare yourself with people living in places that have very few, people who have no job anymore, who have who cannot afford 2 or 3 meals a day. So we should compare ourselves here. These people also, they have no access to credit. They can only spend what they have. And if there is no more money, well, there is no more food. So if you compare yourself, if you feel a little bit down due to the current situation, because a lot of people feel a little bit down, just think about these things, that you are still in a good situation compared to these people who have nothing at all here. Anyway, we should compare, if we compare ourselves to others, even though the current situation or the current experience that we're having is for most of us very unpleasant. We are all aware we are in a very unpleasant situation, but if we compare, we are still better off to people that have nothing at all anymore. Some of them lost their house. So the question is this all the same for you today? Well, if you think for a while, you will see that there is no parallel here between two people who have nothing at all, or your grandparents who had very few when they pensioned. So reflect on your ancestors, reflect on the rest of the world, think about concessions that certain people need to make, and probably your mood will change if you reflect over this all. The last card is the card of evolution. It's literally in an evolution that we are now in. We are going to the age of Aquarius, but for now we are still bangling around in the Pisces time, but we are about to go in the next stage in the Aquarius. Aquarius is equality for all, and for the moment there is no equality for all. There is very strict rules, regulations, sometimes rules and regulations that make no sense for most people. This is all because a lot of governments are very scared, or they pretend to be scared, and they just want to put rules on people in general. Anyway, with this card here, this is about the evolution of life. And we all know that progress is part of life. Sometimes it's a hard progress, or it's the pushed progress here, but we all evolve over the years. 2 decades, sometimes even 2 years that follow one another are not the same if we compare ourselves with 2019 and where we are now. Before and after, we see that the situation is totally different. It's like we are living in a science fiction area now. We cannot imagine these freedoms that we had now and who are now taken from us. Anyway, here also, coming back to the financial side, if we think about 20 years ago, we would have found it unusual to pay large amounts, for instance, for certain services, as there is internet. There are other things that are important in our life now, and therefore we must eliminate certain things that before were essential in the past and now are no longer important. For instance, if you receive no longer calls on your landline, what is the purpose of keeping the landline? So if you want to make some adjustments and you want to save some money, maybe you can cancel this number if you don't use it after all. If you no longer watch broadcasts on your regular TV channels, what is the purpose of your TV channels? Because most of us, we watch TV online, so a lot of us don't use the channels anymore. So why pay for something that you don't use? Also, if you are subscribed to a newspaper, to a magazine, most of these magazines are available online. If you buy the online version, sometimes you save 40%. So why should you buy the online version? These are all savings that you can do. So if you can get rid of these expenses, stop these expenses, review your monthly payments. This is also important. Sometimes also this is about internet banking. If you're still in the traditional banking, you should consider internet banking. Why? Well, if you work with internet banking, especially 100% internet banks, banks that have no physical locations, they are very cheap for the simple reason that they have no staff, they have no location, so they can operate very cheap because they have no staff. If you think to yourself, yeah, but is my money safe there? Well, if you do some investigation, if you play police officer for a few hours, you will see that many of these internet banks are connected to large banks, and so you will see that your money is safe there. You need to do a little bit of investigation. Anyway, if you're not into internet banking at all, which are out with the Aquarius sign, you should adjust to current times. Anyway, we should think about all these expenses, the money that we shouldn't spend, and if we can make savings on certain evolutionary things, we should go with the times. So Aquarius, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check for more information in your Lenormand card readings, because sometimes you can get interesting things there. Also, they are general readings, but sometimes they give you a certain path in life and they give you a certain point of view. We do also philosophical, spiritual card readings, and if you put the three together like a puzzle, you get a very good overview what is to come for you for the coming month. Anyway, Aquarius, thank you for your time. Thank you for subscribing, and we see each other next time. Bye bye for now.